saw some guys make some plays that I don't know that I've seen out there earlier. Keelan Moore and Matt Littlejohn. Can you talk a little bit about them? Have they been playing earlier?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've been taking a lot of reps.
Okay.
I mean, through the first 4 days, and then today they took quite a few. It wasn't anything out of the norm. We plan on getting those guys a lot of reps, and they flashed a couple times, but the tape will tell the story.
Overall, what did you think of today's practice?
About 90 plays of work, which is great. The things that jumped out, our conditioning needs to continue to improve. The mechanics of a scrimmage or game situation with the officials, understanding the consequence of, a lack of focus or a poor technique and how that impacts a play and creates a penalty. The ball was on the ground unforced too many times, so we got to be cleaner with our ball handling, decision making. Defensively, I think the biggest area that showed up where we can improve this next week is some of the open field work. We were not live to the ground, so it is difficult sometimes, but getting ourselves in good positions in the open field to make tackles can improve. There'll be a lot of good things. There's guys are competing really hard, but again, first scrimmage of spring. I don't know that we'll have enough time to hit everything. I mean, there's a lot to clean up.
Is the hope to ramp it up beyond 90, or are you going to keep it at 90 every scrimmage?
Yeah, we always look at it's really not the total number, it's how many are we trying to get the individual players. So, that'll be, we'll see. We kind of see how it goes.
How do you feel like the offensive line's coming along?
They're definitely have improved. I mean, I thought last Wednesday was maybe the best day we've had in terms of running the ball and getting vertical in the run game, moving the line of scrimmage. Today, again, the tape will tell. We still have a lot of work to get done at that position, but they definitely have gotten better. We need everybody to be getting better. It's the goal of spring ball.
A lot of newcomers on defense are making some plays today. How much of those guys come along through the first week or so of practice?
Yeah, significant amount just because they haven't been here. I think maybe a little more comfort every day with the scheme, the communication, the techniques. So you would expect that, and then we can't do is plateau in spring ball. I mean, we're nowhere near that point of maintenance. Now we got to. This next week's going to be critical. We got 3 practices until spring break, and we need to get a lot out of those 3 practices.
Can you talk a little bit about what you're seeing out of the transfer linebackers, Sergio and Dave Reese?
Yeah, I think both the guys have physical tools. They both seem really engaged in football. They ask good questions. They're attentive in meetings. They have practiced hard. So I think, like everybody, I mean, conditioning has to continue to improve. The details of the technique and the scheme knowledge got to improve, but we're certainly glad both those guys are on the team.
What would you say are the strengths of each of their games?
Sergio's got really good quickness. He looks natural playing off the ball. I think, for him it's going to be comfort in the scheme and then finishing. Like, we got to find out, there'll come a point when it's not thud tempo, and ultimately this game's about finishing plays, both sides of the ball. And at that position, you got to be able to get people on the ground, knock them backwards, tip a ball. So time will tell. And I think David is an explosive guy. He's got power. He's had some unfortunate injuries along the way in his career, but he's doing a great job thus far of the workouts and, again, taking to the scheme and asking good questions. And I think he has got some explosiveness and can set an edge. And I think, again, for both those guys, it's going to be, the moment of truth plays when it's them versus the ball carrier, or them on a pass rush, or them in coverage making the play.
How difficult is the evaluation when there maybe isn't as much film on some guys like that?
We got to we have to create the film. That's our job. And there's the fine line of, creating that game intensity and environment and going live, and also, keeping guys up and healthy. So that's always a line that we're walking. But it's our job to create those moments so we can evaluate them.
When you were looking at Sergio and David, what stood out about them, and what was the process like knowing that they hadn't played very much?
Yeah, I think you're looking for, obviously, you go back to the high school tape and you do the homework, talking to a lot of people. You evaluate the video that you do have available, and you're looking for traits, not only the physical traits to play the positions, but the character traits, the love of football, and all those things. We got to know those guys in a pretty short window, and when they came out here and visited, we had really good visits with them, and I think they felt a sense of, that we wanted them and that they had a chance to play here, and it worked out. And as I mentioned before, we're glad it did.
5 practices in, how is Sam getting integrated into the offense in this comfort level?
I mean, he just needs as many reps as possible. That's what he needs, because there's so much you can talk about in the meeting room and the walkthroughs. You can throw routes on air and 7-on-7. You can go to team and in these manufactured situations, but you got to get out and play the game. The quarterback feeling comfort in that, managing the game, making decisions, and doing it for not just 3 plays or 4 plays, but for an 8, 10, 12 play drive. So I think he just needs as many reps as we can possibly feed him.
With Fernando getting a lot more reps, how's he coming along?
He's improving. There's no doubt. Fernando's improving. He had some good moments today. There's obviously some things that he's going to have to clean up, but he continues to improve. I mean, he's a very eager guy. Fernando loves football. He loves the process of meetings and walkthroughs and working out, and so he's definitely shown improvement.
How would you rate just the interior defensive line today? They were able to make some plays. Stanley was in there a couple times.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can give him a grade quite yet. Stanley early on made a couple plays back-to-back. I saw Ethan show up a couple times, Ricky a couple times. Was the consistency there? Probably tell you better on Monday after we watched the tape, but they flashed. But at that position, at all positions, like you're looking for the consistency. You're not looking for the roller coaster, a great play, a poor play. We need consistently good football, and again, like I could tell you probably better on Monday how consistent they actually were.
Justin, pardon me if you've been asked this, but your offensive line, you made a change there with the coach. What are you seeing so far? Are you pleased with the progress?
They're improving. I thought last Wednesday I mentioned that we had really good inside run period. Then our team periods on Wednesday, they did a nice job of moving the line of scrimmage. I think they're working well together. They still have just, the techniques are a little new. I think their communication overall is pretty dang good for being in a new system. I get the sense that they're pretty comfortable with knowing what to do, and now it's just the detail of how to do it and being able to do it for an entire drive, an entire game. And that's conditioning, that's technique, that's mentality, it's all the above. But encouraged by the improvement, but we're far from being a finished product. That's obvious.
You've got a lot of really talented skill guys, but does it still come down to what those guys were able to do for you?
Yeah, you're saying the O-line?
Right.
Yeah. It's hard to start a play without those guys, and so they'll have everybody's going to be critical to the success, and I know that the want-to is there. Coach Blech has done an awesome job with them in a short amount of time. Again, new scheme, some of the techniques, what they're asking of them, but I do think they're doing a good job of taking the coaching and they're showing improvement. Again, as I mentioned last Wednesday, and today I think we had some good runs. There were some good runs by the backs. I thought there was good work up front, but probably not to the level. I know it's not to the level where we need it, but I'm encouraged, with their progress thus far.
What did you think of the running back group this week? It felt like everyone kind of flashed at some point.
Yeah, Jaden looks as faster than he did in the fall. He looked really good. I thought, Byron Cardwell had some nice runs. There was some things at the end that he has to clean up, but he certainly flashed. Ashton is a quick guy, kind of low center of gravity, so he made some nice plays too. So yeah, I think all of them flashed at some point. Big Bo's in there mixing it up. He's a load, man. So he got some short yardage runs in there. Got us out of a backed up situation. It's good to see.
On one of Ashton's long runs, Womack had the angle on him, and he flashed a couple of times today. Any thoughts on him?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be hard for me to pick out, one thing, but he's done a good job. Local guy, and he's got to play. He needs a lot of work.
Sure.
like a lot of guys. So, yeah, glad he's here.